Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is March 16th, 2023. It's on Thursday and sunny outside. How are you spending Thursday? When I was a university student, I usually scheduled Thursday with few classes, and it was a good idea in a week. I usually scheduled less on Thursday, scheduled less classes on Thursday, and it was a good idea, balance in a week. I used to put few classes on Thursday when I was a university student, and it was a good schedule. It was good balance in a week for me. Do you resent if a car cut in on your lane suddenly? Do you resent if someone cuts in on the queue in front of you? Of course. Do you resent if someone cuts in on you in front of you in a lane, in a queue? Do you resent if someone cuts in on the queue? Do you resent if someone cuts in on the queue? Cuts in on the queue. Do you resent if someone cuts in on the queue you are waiting for in the you are waiting for in? Do you resent if someone cuts in on the queue you are waiting for in? Some people resent anything easily. Some people are easy to resent easily. Some people are easy to resent anything easily. Some people tend to resent anything easily. Some people resent repeating something. Some people resent repeating the same things. Some people resent repeating, explaining twice or 3 times, over and over again. Some people resent explaining the same thing. Some people resent explaining the same things. Some people resent explaining the same things over and over again, time and time again. May I ask why you were resentful this morning? May I ask why you were resentful this morning? Can I ask why you were resentful this morning? May I ask the reason why you were resentful this morning? I was fighting with my wife this morning. That's why. I see. Some people are easy to get resentful at anything. Some people are easy to get resentful at anything. Resentful. Are you resentful? Whether he is resentful or not cannot be predicted from the expression on his face. I was advised that I should avoid talking to him when he is resentful. I was advised that I should avoid talking to him when he is resentful. He is so scary when he is resentful. No one wants to approach him. I haven't seen him resentful. I haven't seen him resentful. I haven't seen him being resentful. So I wonder where he is releasing his stress. I haven't seen him being stressful, resentful. So I wonder where he is releasing his stress. Resentful, 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 resentful. Resentful, resentful, resentful. We want to be able to make a decent decision. We are resentful. Some people hit the desk or objects when they are resentful. They cannot hold down their stress. What are you resentful at? 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 We are resentful at not your mistake, but your attitude after that. You never gave an apology to us. We are resentful at not your mistake, but your attitude after making the mistake. You never gave an apology to us. We cannot hold down the resentment of him. No one could hold down the big resentment of the boss. No one could hold down, alleviate, relieve the big resentment of him. Resentment. No one can alleviate the resentment of the boss. No one can alleviate boss's resentment. No one can alleviate the boss's resentment. No one can alleviate boss's resentment. Resentment, resentment, resentment. The company's resentment was so huge as to file a lawsuit against an anonymous man who uploaded a video criticizing the company. The plaintiff was so upset at the defendant sleeping in the court. Maybe we cannot hide our resentment on the expression. Our resentment will surface on our face, expression, and so on. Resentment, 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 resentment. Resentment. The dog's resentment was alleviated by the food. No one could alleviate my resentment right now. No one could alleviate my resentment right now. The moment he looked at the grandson, his resentment went away. The moment he looked at the grandson, his resentment went away. I don't try to keep up with new trend or fashion. I go my own way. I buy what I like. I don't follow the fashion boom and so on. Keeping up with the programming C class was so hard, but I kept up. I tried to keep pace with the hard class, difficult class, and I could get the credit, fortunately. The programming C class was so difficult for me, but I did my best. I tried to catch up with the class. The programming class was so difficult for me to keep up with. Nevertheless, I could get the highest score because I did my best, studying every day, memorizing the computer words, terms, and so on. It was so cold outside. Nevertheless, some people were enjoying surfing. I cannot understand it. I fear I would die from the coldness if I swim in the sea in winter. It was so cold that day. It was so cold that day. Nevertheless, some people were enjoying surfing. It was raining so heavily, and a strong wind was blowing. Nevertheless, the festival was held. The festival took place. I'm nothing but a human. I'm nothing but a human. I'm none other than 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 a human. Money is nothing but a tool made up with by human beings. Money is nothing but a tool to exchange with something. Money is nothing but a tool to exchange something with. Money is nothing but a tool to exchange something with. Money is nothing but a tool in order to exchange something with. I'm nothing but a human in the universe. I'm nothing but a so small existence in the universe. I'm nothing but a human in the universe. I am nothing but a small object in the universe. I am nothing but such a small object in the universe. The instant must be nothing but a piece of glacier. The instant must be nothing but a piece of iceberg. Nothing is anything but late. It is anything but late. It is anything but late. Starting now is anything but late. Entering the university at every age is anything but late. Entering university now is anything but late. I can enjoy riding any attractions but free fall. Free fall is drop vertically, which feels me weird, so I don't like it. So all but free fall attractions, I can enjoy everything in amusement park. Hmm. I'm anything but a novelist anymore. I'm not a novelist anymore. I am anything but a athlete any longer. I'm no longer an athlete. I am no longer an athlete. I am no longer an athlete. I am not an athlete anymore. I am not an athlete any longer. I am not an athlete any longer. When it comes to hotel, are you particular about where to stay? When it comes to the speed of the typing computer, nothing is go beyond him. No one is faster than him. No one can type the keyboard of the computer faster than him. No one can type the computer keyboard as fast as him. Some songs remind me of the days. Some music reminds 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 me of the days. Some songs remind me of the days in the past. Some songs remind me of the days in the past. I set an alarm to remind me of the schedule. Do you usually set an alarm to remind you of the schedule? Do you set an alarm to remind you of the schedule of the important day? Do you set an alarm in order to remind you of the important appointments and so on? I use an alarm as a reminder of important appointments. I use a tool as a reminder of important appointments. I use a tool which reminds me of the important appointments, which works as a reminder. I use a tool as a reminder of important appointments and so on. I use a tool as a reminder of important appointments and so on. The memo on the paper works as a reminder of important appointments and so on. The written paper in my pocket works as a reminder of what to buy at the shopping. The written paper in which I wrote what to buy works as a reminder what to buy when I'm at the supermarket. What do work as a reminder in your schedule? The calendar works as a reminder of important appointments and so on. The schedule calendar works as a reminder of appointments. There are some tools which work as a reminder. Do you use the calendar as a reminder of important appointments and so on? Do you use the calendar? Do you use the calendar? Do you use the calendar as a reminder of appointments? Do you use the calendar as a reminder? Do you use the calendar? Do you use the calendar as a reminder? Do you use the calendar as a reminder? I use the calendar as a reminder. I use the calendar as a reminder of appointments. I use the calendar as a reminder of important appointments and so on. Reminder, 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 reminder. To confess the truth, I was not willing to take on the job. To tell the truth, in fact, I was not willing to take on the job, but I was obliged to. Please bear in mind that you cannot get the free fixment without the warranty, so please do not lose the warranty. Keep in mind that you cannot get free fix without the warranty, so please do not lose the warranty, okay? Please keep in mind that you cannot get free fix if you lose the warranty, so please take care of the warranty. Please do not lose the warranty. Littering in this facility is subject to maximum fine of $500 here. Please keep that in mind. Please bear that in mind. Littering in this facility is subject to fine of $2,000. So please keep that in mind. Please bear that in mind. The executives seldom visit our branch office. The chief executive officer of our company rarely visit our branch office. Rarely visit our branch office. Rarely visit our branch office. Seldom do I eat out. Rarely do I eat out. Seldom the CEO visit our branch office. Seldom do the CEO of the company visit our branch office. Rarely do the CEO of our company visit our branch office. Seldom does the boss smile. Rarely does the boss smile. Seldom does the boss smile. Seldom does the boss smile. Rarely does the boss smile. Soon had I stepped outside, then it began to rain. Hardly had I stepped outside when it began to rain. Hardly had I stepped outside, it began to rain. Scarcely had I stepped outside before it began to rain. Whether or not you take the course is dependent on you. Whether or not you take the course depends on you. Whether or not you take the course, it's up to you. I'm of two minds whether I should take on the job offer. I'm of two minds whether I should take on the job. I'm of two minds regarding whether I should take on the job offer. Whether you believe it or not, I will go my own way. Whether you believe it or not, I'm just explaining based on the textbook. Believe it or not, it is written in the myth. Believe it or not, I really accomplished it. Believe it or not, I accomplished it. I'm in two minds whether to apply for the job. I'm in two minds regarding whether to apply for the job. I'm of two minds whether or not I should take on the job offer. I'm thinking about whether I should take on the job offer or not. I'm about two minds whether I should take on the job offer or not. All but me took on the common sense raid. All but me went onto the common sense raid. All but me proceeded to the normal course in life. All but me proceeded with the common sense. All but me proceeded with the common sense, proceeded to the common sense raid, common sense path. As of 9 o'clock p.m., all but me all went home. I was only the person in the office. So I had to turn off all of the switches when I left the office. As of 9 o'clock p.m., all but me had already gone home. All but me had already gone home as of 9 o'clock p.m. yesterday in the office. All but me were women in the package tour. All but me were women. 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 I can enjoy all attractions that free fall. Free fall. I could eat all but natto in the menu. All but me in the group were women. All but me in the group were women. All but the product on display were sold out. All but the product on the display were sold out. All of the products but the one on the display were sold out when I went there already. All but me went on to the common sense path. All but me went on to the common sense path. As of 9 o'clock p.m., all but me went home. Already went home. As of 9 o'clock p.m., all but me already went home. I was the only employee working on the office, so I was obliged to turn off all of the switches in the office when I left the office. All but me went on to the common sense path. All but me went on to the common sense path. All but me already went home as of 9 o'clock p.m. in the office last night. All but me already went home, left the office as of 9 o'clock p.m. yesterday. All but me already went home, left the office. All but me already left the office, as of 9 o'clock p.m. yesterday. As of 9 o'clock p.m., all but me already left the office. yearly sequence. Yearly sequence of the Chinese zodiac. Can you tell? Can you name the yearly sequence of the Chinese zodiac? Rat, cow, tiger. I cannot remember. Is it in a correct order, in a correct sequence? Please arrange in a correct sequence. In a correct sequence. Please arrange the objects in original correct sequence. Please. Is it correct? Is it correct sequence? Correct order? It takes more than usual, more than average, for me to go back to the normal order in a working condition in the new in the environment. It takes me longer than average for me to go back to the normal working condition after the long vacation. Is it the correct sequence? Is it in a correct sequence? Is it 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 a correct sequence? Please arrange the object in a correct sequence. Please arrange the object. Please arrange the objects in a correct sequence. In the original correct sequence. The original sequence. The sequence number. Are you mesmerized by sequential number? Sequence number. Do you feel special to sequence number? Sequential number. Sequence number. Could you arrange the numbers in a sequence, in a correct sequence, in original sequence? Could you arrange the product on the display in an original sequence? Do you remember? Would you mind arranging the product on display in an original sequence, in original order? Are we moving in the correct sequence? It's a tough task to arrange the trump cards in a correct sequence. It is a tough task to arrange the trump cards in a sequence, in a correct sequence. Could you arrange the products in a correct sequence? Could you arrange the products in a correct sequence? Could you arrange the products in a correct sequence? The sequence of happy things made me surprised. The sequence of happy things took me by surprise. I felt someone taking hold of my hand. I felt someone taking hold of my hand. I really liked it. I really liked it when my friend took hold of my hand in haunted house. I really liked it. I really liked when my friend took hold of my clothes in a haunted house in fear of the ghost appearing in front of her. Have you seen a sequence of torii gates at Fushimi Inari Shrine? Each torii gate is donated by individuals, companies, and so on. The torii gates are lined up to the summit of the mountain. Have you seen a sequence of torii gates at Fushimi Inari Shrine? Deity of rice is enshrined in the Fushimi Inari Shrine. Have you seen the sequence of torii gates at Fushimi Inari Shrine, Kyoto? Have you seen a sequence of torii gates in Fushimi Inari Shrine? Have you seen a series of torii gates at Fushimi Inari Shrine? Have you seen a sequence of torii gates? Have you seen the series of torii gates at Fushimi Inari Shrine, Kyoto? Are you waiting for a sequence of happiness, happy things, happy events? You can enjoy a sequence of happy events, especially in summer in Japan. There are many festivals are held in summer. I like to enjoy a sequence of fireworks launched from the river in summer. I'm looking forward to appreciating a sequence of fireworks launched from the riverbank. Could you arrange the products in a correct sequence? Could you rearrange the products in the original sequence? Could you rearrange the products in a sequence in the original sequence? All we have one of the things we have to do after the business hours to rearrange the products in the original sequence. Are you looking forward to frequent happy events in your life? Frequent happy messages from my friends. Frequent happy messages from the company. Accepting me as a worker. in the company. Good. We can predict a sequent natural disaster from the lessons we learned in the past. We can expect, anticipate, predict, presume, infer natural disasters which might happen after the first natural disaster from the lessons we learned. We can predict sequent natural disaster to a certain extent from the lessons we learned in the past. For example, if it is raining so heavily, landslide might happen, so we can evacuate from such mountainous area. We can predict the sequent natural disasters from the lessons we learned. We can predict the sequent natural disasters to a certain extent, to some degrees from the lessons we learned, from the experiences we had in the past, from the experiences and the data we had in the past. Do you like the sequent numbers? Do you like the sequent numbers? I think my schedule on April. I'm overwhelmed by the sequent jobs, my sequent job days, working days, sequent job days, sequent working days. Whenever I look at the schedule for April, which overwhelms. Whenever I look at the schedule for April, it is filled with working days. Whenever I look at the schedule for April, which overwhelms me with sequential working days. Sequential working days. Whenever I look at my schedule for April, whenever I look at the schedule for April, which overwhelms me with the sequent working days. Sequent working days in a week damaged my health. Sequent working days for 30 days in a row damaged my health, ending up hospitalizing. The sequent working days for 30 days in a row damaged my health, ending up being hospitalized at the hospital. Sequent. Sequential. Sequent. I was overwhelmed by the sequent working days. Sequential number. sequential happy events, sequential happy events, sequential bad things, sequential. I'm surprised at sequential happy things. I'm surprised by the sequential miracle to me. I really appreciate that. I'm surprised at sequential miracles happening to me recently. I really appreciate that. I'm really surprised at sequential happy things, miracles happening to me. I'm really surprised at sequential miracles happening to me. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. We can predict sequential natural disasters to a certain extent from the experiences and data we heard in the past. We can predict sequential natural disaster to a certain extent from the data or experiences in the past. What do you prioritize the most when you search for apartment? What do you prioritize the most when you find a job? Salary, environment, your taste. We tend to rub our body when we got hit and being bothered by the pain. Don't rob me of my dream. Don't rob children by their dreams, of their dreams. Don't deprive children of their dreams. Don't rob children of their dreams. Don't rob children of their dreams. Don't deprive children of their dreams. Don't rob me of my precious time. Don't deprive me of my precious time. Whenever I drive in a narrow space, I'm scared, so that my car won't rub on the walls or other cars. Whenever I go through narrow spaces with my car, I fear that my car might rub on the walls or other cars and so on. Whenever I go through narrow spaces with my car, I fear that my car might rub on the walls and so on. I learned that I should not rub my body with a towel strongly for my skin when I washing my body. I was advised that I should refrain from rubbing my body with a towel strongly when I wash my body. I was advised that I should refrain from rubbing my body with a detergent and towel strongly for my skin. Do you rub your body strongly with a towel? The white radish is rubbed with a tool to make them into pieces. Do you know the tool to rub the white radish? Can I buy it at the 100 yen shop? Can I buy that at the 100 yen shop? Rub. Rubbing too much creates heat. I learned it when I was a student of elementary school. I saw some students rubbing the thermometer so that they could go home with a fever, although they did not have the fever. I saw some students rubbing the thermometer on the clothes to create the fever, so that they could go home with a fever, although they didn't have the fever. I remember seeing some students rubbing the thermometer on their clothes to create the heat, so that they could go home with the fake heat. I remember seeing some students rubbing the thermometer on their clothes to create the heat enough to go home, pretending to be they have the heat, pretending to be they have heat. I remember seeing some students rubbing the thermometer on their clothes to create the heat enough to be able to go home with the heat, pretending to be sick, illness, and so on, although they are very happy, very fine, healthy, and so on. I remember seeing some students rubbing the thermometer on their clothes to create heat in order to go home with the fake heat. Whenever I drive through narrow spaces, I'm so cautious about driving. I'm so careful about driving. I'm so scared of my car scratching, rubbing. Whenever I go through narrow spaces, I'm so scared of my car rubbing the wall. Whenever I go through narrow spaces or parking in narrow spaces, I'm so scared of my cars rubbing on the wall or the cars parked next to me, and so on. Whenever I park in narrow spaces or go through narrow spaces, I'm so scared of my car rubbing on other walls, cars, and so on. Whenever I go through narrow spaces, I'm so scared of my car rubbing on the walls or other cars. The feet of the statue is worn out, rubbed, because many tourists touched it in hopes of happiness, in hopes of blessing from the statue. The feet of the statue are rubbed, worn out. The feet of the statue is worn out because many tourists touched it in hopes of blessing, in hopes of blessing from the statue. Do you have an eraser? What is the difference between rubber and eraser? Is it same? I found a injury on my arm. I didn't realize it until today. My arm must have rubbed before I noticed somewhere yesterday. I think maybe while I was walking on the street, maybe I rubbed on the wall. I didn't realize it until today. I found an injury on my arm. I didn't realize it until today. Until today. My arm must have rubbed on the wall while I was walking yesterday on the wall, on the street. I found an injury on my arm yesterday. Today. It was not until today that I found the injury on my arm. My arm must have rubbed on the wall while I was walking on the street yesterday. My arm must have rubbed on the wall. I must have rubbed on the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed on the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. Rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed. I must have rubbed the wall. Rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. I must have rubbed the wall. Rubbed. I must have rubbed. I must have rubbed the wall while walking the street. What is the difference between rubber and eraser? Excuse me, can I borrow your rubber? Because I forgot my pen case at home. Sure, use it. Don't hesitate to use my rubber. Eraser, you're my friend. Sure, don't hesitate to use it. Thank you. I learned that rubber does not let the electricity flow. So usually electrical cable is covered in rubber. I learned that rubber has the feature not letting the electricity flow. I learned that rubber does not let the electricity flow. I learned that the rubber does not let electricity flow. I learned that the rubber does not let electricity flow. I learned that the rubber does not let electricity flow. I learned that the rubber does not let electricity flow. Rubber is usually used to stop the electricity from flowing. Electrical cable is usually covered in rubber. Rubber is the material which does not let the electricity flow. Rubber is the material which does not let electricity flow. So rubber is usually used to cover electrical cable. Electrical cable is usually covered in rubber. Due to my disease, I often cannot help scratching my body. I sometimes or often cannot stop scratching my body, itchy part. Please refrain from scratching the surface. 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 He is in habit of scratching the wall. He has a habit of scratching the wall. He has a habit of scratching his skin all the time. Wild animals will scratch the wall. While I was away, my pet dog scratched the wall. While I was away, my pet dog scratched the wall. While I was away, my pet dog scratched the wall, scratched the wall, scratched the wall. While I was away, the pet dog scratched the wall. All of the paintings in the art museum are covered with a plastic case to prevent from being scratched by accident. All of the paintings in the National Gallery are covered with the special case in order to avoid being scratched. I bought a tool called Monology to scratch my back, which cannot be reached by my hand. I bought a stick, a kind of stick, in order to scratch my back, which cannot be reached by my hand. Please put the medicine out of the children's reach. Please put the medicine over dangerous objects out of the children's reach. I cannot help scratching my body. I often cannot stop scratching my body. All of the paintings and portraits and other objects are covered in a special case in order to prevent from being scratched. In order to prevent being from scratched. In order to prevent the paintings from being scratched. In order to prevent the paintings from being scratched. Scratch. Scratched. I put some ointment on the scratches on my body, and it is disappearing. They are disappearing. I put some ointment on the scratches of my body, and they are disappearing gradually. I kept scratching my body while sleeping last night. I kept scratching during the sleep last night. I often keep scratching without my conscious while sleeping. I often scratch my body without conscious while sleeping, and I often surprised at the new scratches on my body. I often keep scratching without notice during my sleep and surprised at the new injuries, scratches on my body. I often scratches without notice, without noticing, without realizing while I'm sleeping, and surprised at the new scratches on my body on the next day. I often keep scratching without realizing while I'm sleeping, and surprised at the new scratches on my body on the next day. All of the paintings are covered in a special case to prevent someone from scratching those. All of the paintings and portraits are covered in a special case in order to prevent from being scratched by accident. What is the surface of the body of the car? It looks so beautiful. It's like a mirror. What did you put? The surface of your car looks so beautiful like a mirror. What did you put? I'd like to have my car tailored the same way as yours. What did you put on the body, on the surface of the car? It looks like a mirror. I'd like to have my car tailored the same way. I'd like to have my car tailored the same way. I'd like to have my car tailored the same way. I'd like to have my car tailored the same way. I'd like to have my cut done. I'd like to have my cut done in the same way. I'd like to have my cut done in the same way. I'd like to have my cut done in the same way. I'd like to have my cut done in the same way. I'd like to have my cut done in the same way. How much was it? Secret. Dust soon appears on the surface of the table. Dust tends to appear on the surface of the table soon. Dust appear on the table soon. Surface affection. Surface or true affection. His surface effort was seen through by the regularly surveillance because he was working hard only when the boss visited him. He was pretending to be working so hard only when the boss visited the branch office. Visited the branch office. Visited the branch office. He was pretending to be working so hard only when the boss visited the branch office. Visited the branch office. Visited the branch office. Only the boss visited. Only the boss visited the branch office. Visited the branch office. Today we just finished only surface treatment on the wall. We will have the drastic measure tomorrow. We just had a surface treatment on the wall to prevent the house getting drops from the rain. Tomorrow we will have drastic treatment on the roof to prevent the water from entering the house. Today we just had the surface treatment on the wall, surface amendment on the wall, on the rooftop. It's a tentative measure. Tomorrow we will have a drastic treatment, drastic construction, drastic measure on the rooftop in order to prevent water from entering. Surface effort will be seen through. Surface effort will be seen through by professionals. Surface motivation will be seen through by the professionals or from human resources. I'm tired of the surface friendship with others, with people. I don't like the surface relationship with some people. We are tired of the surface friendship. Surface over real friendship. Surface over real relationship. The company A hopes to develop a real relationship with the company B. The company A hopes to develop a real relationship with the company D. Not surface. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one with time by having the activities together. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by having the activities together more and more. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. Judging from only the surface things, we cannot understand, we cannot predict anything. We cannot judge anything from the surface evidences. Some people try to improve only surface things. Some people try to improve only surface things. The surface of the web page looks nice, but we don't know what's real inside. We don't know until we join the we don't know until we participate in the party, event, and so on. Surface imagination. Surface image of the website and the company looks very nice, but we don't know what it is actually. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. The surface relationship might develop into a serious one by spending time together more and more. Surface. Surface improvement, not from the depth, not from the inside. Surface treatment, not from fundamental, Surface treatment is only available. Only surface treatment is available right now. Only surface treatment is available, but I want it to be treated drastically, fundamentally. I saw some workers surfacing the road. Surfaced yesterday. It's very comfortable to drive on. The road will be expected to. The road is expected to be surfaced during the midnight from the time written on the board. So the traffic congestion is expected during the time. I saw some workers surfacing the road for the better road. I saw some workers surfacing the road. Bumpy road. The bumpy road was so flat thanks to the surface. The bumpy road turned into flat one thanks to the surface. The workers are surfacing the bumpy road. The workers are surfacing the bumpy road. The workers are surfacing the bumpy road. The newly discovered evidence surfaced the possibility of the celebrity being arrested for the wrongdoing. The newly discovered evidence and picture surfaced the possibility of the celebrity being arrested. The newly discovered pottery and porcelain from the ground surfaced the possibility where the culture was thriving in the area. The newly discovered bones from the ground surfaced the possibility that there were cemetery in the area district. Hmm. The incident must be a piece of iceberg. More and more incidents seems to surface from now on. The incident must be a piece of iceberg. More and more incidents seem to surface. And owing to the sudden resignation of the Diet member, the vice president, the possibility of the vice president of the political party is surfaced. On account of the sudden resignation of the Diet member, the possibility of the vice president of the political party, becoming the Diet member surfaced. The rainwater soaks into the ground, becoming groundwater, and springs out and surfaces as the spring water. More and more wrongdoings are surfacing. More and more wrongdoings are surfacing. More and more questions are raised and surfacing. Hardly had I stepped outside, it began to rain. Hardly had I stepped outside, it began to rain. Hardly had I arrived at home, my phone rang. Scarcely had I arrived at home, before I ran to the refrigerator. Scarcely had I arrived at home, before I ran to the refrigerator. No sooner had she arrived at home than she rushed to the fridge. No sooner had she arrived at the home, than she rushed to the fridge. No sooner had she arrived at home than she rushed to the fridge. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!